second issue is about drying. She improved the drying process by even utilizing the peels at relatively very a low temperature of about 55, 60 degrees, which is very, very significant. And the third issue is that they have been able to remove the microorganisms and even some of the mycotoxins. And the resultant product is higher quality cassava flour that can be used for various products. And this particular innovation is something we can adopt in our rural areas because most of the cassava farmers are in the rural areas. So I would like our audience to please give her another round of applause. Well, thank you very much. Because we are running short of time, we would like to move to the next program because most of the panelists are here. Okay, we are moving to policy, partnerships, and growth of the cassava industry. We have 3 papers. Who is president? Driving African cassava industry development through R&D commercialization and industry linkages by Professor Ibrahim Katampe. Okay. So please permit us to release these presenters, and then before that we need to have a photograph, a group photograph with Prop and support for a job well done. Thank you very much. Photograph, please. Please, there's an announcement for our speakers. You need to go to the media stand and get your presentation uploaded before you come. Before we start the next session, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Ibrahim Katampe from the Central State University, who has been a major pillar for PAESME, and he's the Pro-Chancellor of Cosmopolitan University, Abuja. We welcome you, Prof. We would like also to recognize the presence of Commissioner of Agriculture from Kano State. You're welcome, sir. Special advisor. Okay, special advisor on agriculture from Kano State. You are welcome, sir. That's, then we have Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Investment, Industry, Trade, and what is it? Cooperative. Shehu Sagagi. Okay, you are welcome, sir. Dr. Victoria Akai, the Chief Executive Officer of Duchess Marketplace. You are welcome, ma'am. His Royal Highness is Dr. Uche Egenti, MON, PAESME Director. You are welcome. Dr. Jummai Adamu, the DG of Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi. You are welcome, DG. Thank you. These are the personalities we would like to recognize before we continue. The next The next panel is on policy partnerships for growth of the cassava industry. I would like to invite the following panelists. Samuel Ogule, Project Coordinator, African Agricultural Technology Foundation. You are welcome. Dr. Tony Bello, Chairman, Shine Bridge Global, SBG. Nigeria Cassava Industrialization Group, their representative. Representative of Nigerian Cassava Industrialization Group. Representative of African Accreditation Corporation, AFRAC. Engineer Dr. IBM Ogwejifo, National Coordinator, Strategy Implementation Tax Office. Senate Committee on Agriculture, University of Juba.
The Nigeria Cassava is farmer.
Okay, mention. Who? Farmer.
Farmer Neji, would you please come on stage to present the Nigeria Cassava Industrialization Group?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Academic Staff Union of Universities, Asuri, their representative. European Union Aviation Safety Agency, their representative. Okay, okay, University of Juba. Yeah. These are the distinguished panelists we have. Experts, experienced resource persons, that we have to do justice to this very session on policy and partnerships for growth of the cassava industry. The first paper will be delivered by Professor Ibrahim Katampe, Central State University, USA. The paper is on driving cassava development through R&D commercialization and industry linkages. Prof, you can have the floor, sir.
So thanks, Alvi. Thank you so much. Yes. I'll be too slow, I'll be too quick. Then you guys will get it. Okay, yeah, it's a big opportunity to speak on cassava value chain, especially R&D. But I'm not going to talk about R&D. I'm not going to talk about the science side. But throughout my slides, what you will see, every slide will give you an idea why we need to innovate, why we need to do research. Not just research, but research for development. There's a lot of research we do that end up on the shelf. But our cassava research is to develop. So most of my talk will be business-centric, but through the business-centric, hopefully, you'll be able to get the development ideas that we need to get. One of the presenters before me, he indicated cassava looks like a solid thing, but it's almost 65 to 70% water. Because it's 65 to 70% water, that means it will be easy to spoil. That means you cannot easily export it. That means for me to export to make money, I have to do something. True or false? True. So most of what we'll be saying are indicators why an innovative R&D should drive the development. You've been here for 2 days now. This second day. I don't need to tell you what cassava is. But I want to tell you the relevance of cassava. If you know the relevance of cassava, hopefully you'll be able to start thinking differently. So the whole idea is to change our mindset of this food that is common. There's something, when something is too common, you lose the value, you lose the relevance. So because we take gari all the time, it says poor man's food. But don't take it to be so common. With the growing importance between African countries, that's why the last presenter, we're all Africans, but there's relationship between our countries. So trade automatically develops. There's collaboration. But the common denominator here we want to talk about is cassava. How can we leverage on this abundance to be able to promote trade among us? You've seen the importance of cassava. You were there yesterday and it's still there today. You've seen the importance. A lot of us that went to secondary school here, who hasn't drank gari before? Almost everybody has, right? If you haven't, have you drank gari before? Maybe you're too young. Who hasn't eaten eba before? We all have. Who hasn't eaten boiled cassava before? All have. In fact, I was in DRC, from Rwanda to DRC. It's like they even eat boiled cassava as a snack. So it's everywhere. Are you getting the picture now? It's everywhere. So it has an immense potential. So let's look at the global picture. We all know, we say Nigeria is the biggest producer of cassava. Africa is the biggest one, combined total. Sub-Saharan Africa produces almost 65% of the world cassava. Let me say it again. Sub-Saharan Africa produces how many percent? 65% of the world cassava potential. So, if you're producing 65% of the world totals, should Africa be poor in foreign currency that comes as a result of cassava? Yes or no? No. So that's a research topic for some finance. Why not? Why is it not translating? If we hold 65% of the world in our fingers, why is it not translating? DRC, the second largest, the third is Thailand, and all that. Because for you to do an effective R&D that would translate, you have to know the economics. A lot of us do basic research or applied research, but we don't do what? Translational research. Our research is not translating to anything. So the 15 or so I have is to gear our mind into translational research. How can I translate what we are doing in the highest publications around research activities is around biology, chemistry, and stuff. So that means we're just doing what? Basic and applied. I haven't seen any process research. If you look at the percentage of research, I didn't want to bring it up here because it's not a purely research conference, but it's a whole holistic approach. So, what do you do with this abundance? The top African countries, of course, Nigeria again, DRC, then the third is Ghana. You take these three, we are producing. And the amazing thing, I'm not going to touch about the production. A lot of us probably have been taught. It grows virtually everywhere. It's not difficult to grow cassava. So we are blessed. 60% of arable land is in where? Africa. 60% of global arable land is in Africa. By 2050, 20% of the population will be what? Africa. Which is the largest country in Africa? So by extrapolation, 1/5 of the world population will be Africans. So and now you have 65% of potential food that you can control the world. We need to leverage that. But are we leveraging it? That's a question mark. So if we come to the top three, we're here. I know it's not properly showing, but let us look at the global market. Because if there is no return on investment, my colleagues here will not spend time trying to discuss. They are trying to get our ideas into what will motivate us. If there's no return on investment, will you do research for research's sake? Will you? Yes or no? Hello? Will you send your kid to school just for the sake of school to say he's educated if there is no usefulness afterwards? Will you do that? Yes? No. So let's look at the global market outlook first. Then we're talking about investment on food, investment in that. If there's no market, nobody will give you money. So is it a viable product? Is cassava even a viable product? Because if there's no market viability, You can be the best technology, it won't go anywhere because it will not be accessible. So cassava is potential for food and nutrition security. A lot of us talk about food security, but we have to worry about what? Nutrition security. Nutritious food. At home we call it balanced diet. In the morning you can eat yam. In the morning you can eat cassava. In the afternoon you can eat cassava. At night you can eat cassava. You're full because it's full of carbohydrate and calories, the highest calories among most of the staples. But is it nutritious by itself? Yes, no? No? You feel full, it's not nutritious by itself because a lot of starch. When starch breaks down, what do you get? Sugar. And when you have so much sugar without letting it out, what do you get? What? So, but yet you have this nice stable food, so you start thinking, how can I leverage? How can I make use of something? So whatever we're doing, it's not only cassava. I'm using cassava as an example. So that you can determine whether this is a viable or valuable thing, you have to think about the whole value chain. And I'm not going to worry about the value chain right now, but throughout my discussions, you will see there's a value chain approach. From production to harvesting to transportation, logistics to storage, all the way to the table, from farm to table. My discussions encompass all this, but you won't see it intentionally saying value chain because it's too academic. We already know. But I want to go in between. So the global cassava market is increasing demand, absolutely. For food, for beverages, and animal feed. Who is using cassava right now for animal feed? Luckily, we have the chairman of the Cassava Society Association here. See, not too many people. How many people are using cassava for industrial use, like for starch? Yeah. Oh, no, apart from my colleagues. You see, that's why they are at the high table, because they appreciate the value. So I'm not talking to us. That's why I'm backing you guys. But that is the relevance. But how many are having cassava either as flour for food? Yeah, we are. See? It's for food. And that's why you get pot belly like mine. But in 2020, the global cassava market is expected to grow. So that means there's a market. The question I need us to ask ourselves is, are you participating in that market? What part of the market do you want to play a role? With a focus on sustainability, practice, and export. So the three things that would drive the growth is what? Production practices and export growth. You need foreign currency. I don't want to talk about production because we keep talking about the agronomic practices. When you practice them, increases the yield anyway. But that's not that. It's academic. It's known. But thankfully, African soil, even without applying the agronomic practices, are still producing. Amazingly, the biggest challenge in cassava actually, because crop production in Africa resides with who? Smallholder farmers, right? And we know the challenges of smallholder farming. What are the challenges? Small land, no farm inputs, no capital, no investment, and all this. So without all this, we're still number one in the world. So something is not adding up. Something is not adding up. Because you expect this smallholder farmer not to produce. Right? Yeah. But yet, being a smallholder farmer, with all the things that affect smallholder farmer, we're still the largest. So something is not adding up. So it tells me that one of the key priorities is not just enhancing production. Because what happens, if I increase production, I'll have so much excess that will start going to food spoilage. Right? So if I produce so much now, and I don't worry about the value chain, guess what? We'll start having other issues. So the issue might not be just production, but production has its place. Improved variety has its place. But for us to be a viable thing, okay, so we need to start thinking export that will bring foreign currency that will help our something. So the issue might not be necessarily because I'm a smallholder farmer. The issue might be something else. That's why it calls for R&D. I just want us to get us thinking. Because if I'm not expected to produce something I'm producing and it's taking over the whole world, then my focus is not be just that tilling land, because you have so much abundance that you can't do anything with it. And I think that's the biggest problem with Africa. 60% of the land in Africa is arable. That means what? We can produce food. So the issue of food availability or food insecurity, if it's with respect to Africa, shouldn't really exist. There are other factors. It's not because our land is not fertile. If you do a proper agronomic practices, you find out that it's cheaper to even grow your crops. But what normally happens if your thing is not grow, if your plant is not growing, what do you think first? Farm input, fertilizer. True or false? Land, soil is a living thing. If you keep putting chemicals, the microbial diversity of that soil is affected. Guess what? The soil will not produce. So 1 hectare of land will produce less because what? You poison it with every time chemical, every time NPK, every time fertilizer. So you're not doing the actual agronomic practices. So our agricultural people, the first fundamental research is agronomic practices that will enhance regional production. That way you will reduce your pesticide use, you reduce weed invasion, because it's called agroecology. Every ecology is perfected for its own use, so that you don't have to stress yourself. So the principle of agroecology, we should imbibe that for our production practices. Then harvesting and all that, I'll come there. So investments again in production, okay, and export infrastructure will help this cassava industry. Something's coming up there. Okay. The global export is projected to be 10 billion. No, yeah, okay. It's projected to be 10 billion. Let me ask a hypothetical question. Who knows the export potential of Nigerian cassava? Or Africa, let's say, of Nigeria? How much is Nigeria exporting? Again, not my colleagues. Oh, they just finished. Oh, you say it, right? They just finished? Yeah. No, they are the ones that will, yeah. Yeah, they will tell, they're hiding the answers. Yeah, yes. It's not up to 2 million. It's not up to 1 billion, you said? 50 million. So you have 65%. You have 65% of the world market. You have 65% of the world market that's projected to be at 10 billion. Naturally, I should have 65% of the 10 billion. True or false? But guess what? Out of almost that 10 billion is equivalent to like 240 or 204 million tons of cassava. But guess how many tons of cassava we export out? Only 3,000. Out of how many? 204 million. We only export 3,000. It's 0.0 something of a percentage. It's a small drop. Is there something wrong? Yes or no? It calls for R&D. R&D is not just in the lab. Public policy, everything is R&D. You have to ask yourself why. You have to have developed innovative thinking. Why? I have 65, I'm producing something that 65% of the world needs. I have it, but yet I can only send them less than 204 million tons, but I can only ship at 3,000. Something is wrong. Something is not adding up. Who can tell me what's the biggest exporter of cassava? Probably somebody said it already. Who? Was it? Yeah? Yeah, you have to put in the strategies. Yes. But I'm asking the questions now, they will put in the strategies. But who can predict in the audience the biggest exporter of cassava and cassava-related products? Thailand. But where in the supply chain, in the production chain is Thailand? Thailand is number 3. It's not, even that number 3, the number is even small. But yet, it controls 70% of the market. The graph is upside down. Don't you think something's wrong? Hello? Yeah. Something's absolutely, I don't know what's going on here, but. Sub-Saharan Africa, 65% of global, but Sub-Saharan Africa only exports 3,000. Which is, so despite, I don't know, there's so many things here. Okay. We said Nigeria is the world largest, right? But it ranks 59 globally in cassava export. That's Nigeria. It's the biggest, but with what? 59. He was right. The export value from Nigeria only, which is the biggest country in cassava production? Nigeria. In a 10 billion industry, but Nigeria is only exporting 1.02 million. Is that adding up, guys? Yes? Something is wrong. So when we say we're big for nothing, actually it is true. So we have to start thinking of these critical issues if we want to make impact. What's the minimum wage? 70,000, right? $70,000. I want to deviate a little bit to show you the same thing. Because if we don't put the same thinking we are putting, we cannot have food security, food and nutrition security. We take everything for granted. Just because our stomach is full every day, we think the whole world, there's nothing going on. Your minimum wage, 70,000. True or false? How many dollars is there? How many dollars is there? With the highest exchange rate, go to the highest exchange rate. So let's put 1,500. It's less than $50, right? No, I'm not giving them. They are giving themselves. It's okay. It's okay. We're talking. We're talking. I mean, you are my own. They are there. They will. Yeah. It's 70,000. Less than 50,000. I don't know how panel work, but I hope I'm not giving out too many things. We'll clean with each other. It's okay. It's interactive. We will just, you form it your own way. I don't know how panel work. Is that okay? Yes. So, 7,000, less than 50,000 a month. That's what it means. Is that sustainable? So a lot of us use, what's your airfare to come from Lagos to Abuja? What is it? What is it? 70,000. What is it? Somebody tell me. So that means you're using your whole 1 month wages to buy an airfare to come. Something is not adding up again. So the problem is we're not doing the R&D thinking that we need to think. We take everything for granted. But we shouldn't take cassava for granted, because the whole world needs us. So here you cannot see, but I have the source of foreign currency. I have a graph. I'm a scientist. I like to have charts, but it's not showing there for some reason. Okay. To show you that 51% of the cassava we produce in Africa is going for home use. But the driver for export that will encourage R&D, research is expensive. We need foreign investment. We need currency. Because investment, research needs to result in return on investment. If you start doing research and you're not extrapolating on how you're going to recover, then the research will just sit on the shelf. So 51% goes to home consumption. 41% is even diluted within the supply chain. That's why we don't even have enough to send. Okay? You cannot see my graph. So, we need to innovate. But what are the recent R&D innovation? If I say go and innovate, 90% of you will start going to production. But I've already told you that you already own 65% of the market. So your work, you're just going to a comfort zone. There's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. Who has read it? It's a business strategy. You're only bleeding in one place where there's a lot of blue ocean available for research. You need to venture and say, I have 65% of the world. I can produce 65%, but I'm only sending 3,000, less than 0.00 something percent. But we still refuse the reality. We still just still feeding, just still researching, still publishing, pest management, this, all that thing. It doesn't work. Comfort, you're too comfortable with your research activity. Before I do any research activity, I look at economic things first. I have 9 U.S. patents. I've commercialized 4. I've published so many private sector. But I don't just go into into research till it's viable research. So that should be our mindset. So what are the recent developments in cassava research? Guess which is the #1 country that has spent so many in cassava research? I don't know if you can see my graph. Who can predict the #1 country that has spent so much money in cassava research? What?
So that his presentation shows it.
It's not Thailand, it's Nigeria. You see? So the research is not translating to economic development. That's a problem. If you see my graph, Thailand is #2 in research investment. #1 production is Nigeria. #3 production is Thailand. #1 export, $1.6 billion is Thailand. #1 research paper is Nigeria. Number 2 is Thailand. Number 3 is DRC. Something is not adding up. So what kind of research are you going to do that will change the narrative? That's the challenge. I'm not the one to tell us. But you have to do your own analysis. And in research, you start with what? Literature search before you do literature review. And where you're searching, the depth of your search determines the quality of your research. But a lot of us go ahead right now, you are emotional and start doing literature review. It's too premature. Go and do literature search. Scan. You see what I've just done? I've gone globally first to see where will I focus my research activity. So there's so much research papers in Nigeria. So knowledge is there, but the knowledge is not translating. DRC is the third, Brazil and Indonesia in development. So what have they been working on? What are the things that can move us to the next level? I'm about to finish. Introduction of disease-resistant cassava varieties. It is excellent. It's good for academic. You know why it is good? Because of climate change, there will be new and emerging pests and diseases. For food security, you need to be at the head of your game. But for economic development, you know, research is an investment, long term. Emerging pests and diseases are coming up. So, biopesticides, things that will not destroy the ozone, things that will not destroy the environment is where we should be heading to. The processing, because the population is growing, processing is manual intensive, is labor intensive. If we invest, do we have the right infrastructure for food processing in Nigeria? Most likely, no. That's why you have a lot of post-harvest law. A lot of the things, US, where I come from, 90% of the world food spoilage or food waste. You know, there's a difference between food loss and food waste. A lot of what is happening in Africa is food loss. The land is not yielding the acreage it needs to yield, so food is lost. Why? All the agronomic practices, right? Pests and diseases. Then packaging, logistics, every time food is being lost. You go to my mother in the market selling tomatoes, what do you see everywhere? What do you see? Tomatoes everywhere. Food is being lost. Then food waste is different. Food waste is after they cook the food, you eat. Instead of eating your own portion, you eat too much, and you know you won't finish. Guess what? It goes back to you're wasting. Food waste is actually more expensive than what? But because you add value as you go. 90% of food waste comes from the US, junk food you eat. But that can alleviate 1/8 of the world hunger. So we have to work as a system, as a group. So we have to have value in our agriculture, especially the cassava. So I have a graph here, again, it's not showing. So the use of technology to improve processing. Technology is a broad word, okay? It's broad. Drying, peeling, all the value things, technology. Okay, we need to look at that area. Advances in biotechnology, what would biotechnology give me? We've already said the tuber is almost 70% water, so fermentation is easy. So that means I cannot export, or before I export, I have to do something about it, and I can't put pesticide, I can't put chemical, because the different countries have expectations. Are we getting the picture? So what do I have to do differently? So all this are biotechnology. The third that is mostly neglected is the nutritional value. Some of our colleagues are here. I saw their poster. Food tech. I saw their poster somewhere. They are focusing on what? Fortification. What does cassava lack mostly in the nutrition? What does it lack? Protein. protein. So, are there a lot of groups working on plant-based protein that can be fortified, that is compatible? Maybe there's a limitation, we don't know. What are the prevalent cases of malnutrition in Africa? And we have the crop. So maybe, if these things are fortified, maybe. But I saw a group there working on it. How many of us are working? So, low protein calories. I know they are coming, telling my time is over. So finally, again, you're not seeing my graph, but anything you will do to narrow the rollout, to improve exports, that's innovation. That calls for R&D. Anything you will do to preserve, to increase the nutrient, because health is wealth. If you are nutritionally sound, guess what? You'll be able to think. You'll be able to do things properly. But a sick nation cannot think. A sick nation cannot think. A sick people cannot think. So, food nutrition, let's think about different ways we can fortify this guy called cassava flour, because it calls for pure R&D. Let's look at how we can improve our export. Then that means you need to know your stakeholders. And I'll go now, one more slide, then we'll be done. Yeah, I know. Yeah, when they keep saying, when you see people too many times, you know. Okay. But what collaborative model I want to talk about, the final collaborative model is called the quadruple helix, where the government is involved, the researchers are involved, the smallholder farmers are involved, then the civil society are involved, because it takes a village to what? To raise a child. And this child is what? Cassava. So it takes a complete understanding. Every of these helixes, every of these cycles need to have the absorptive capacity to understand. If you are developing technology that the society cannot absorb because of our literacy rate, it will go nowhere. 45% of us are illiterate. Probably that might be one of the issues that might even help. So that if there are innovations, we can't even apply them. That's a problem, right? Okay, so the absorptive capacity of the civil society is important. So the collaborative, the linkages we need to have, or this forum needs to have, is a consortium of academia, government for policy, private sectors, bank people, smallholder farmers, and the civil society. And if we do that, we can brainstorm together and be able to solve this problem. Okay, that's what I have there. But the last slide is this guy here. This is one of the most important slides. It looks like a spring. If people are not ready for a change, nothing will happen. If you look at the x-axis, technology and absorptive capacity, it will not happen. So, again, my apologies I've taken so long, but I hope I've put some things in our brain that will make us start looking at different segments to research on. Did I do that?
Thank you very much. I don't know how to thank you enough, Prof. Please give him another round of applause. Because there are three. You go down, but we'll come back to you if there are questions. I think we would discuss his paper, then the second speaker will come. We finish his own, you remain, the third speaker will come. But we would do it very fast. Prof has said so many things. In fact, he stimulated our thinking, and it's very broad. Everything about cassava value chain, and why we are not doing what we are not doing, why we should focus on what we should be doing. We are the largest producer. We are not the largest exporter. We are eating cassava that is not even nutritious. And the opportunities that are there are so much, that is, we are just standing on it, we are not seeing it, or we deliberately refuse to sit on it. The next person is Dr. Jumai. Please get her paper. I wouldn't want to do what you are supposed to do, but I just want to say that this discussion will revolve around investment and innovation, because he said he's not going to talk much about production. We have already seen that production is not the problem. But what do we do with what we produce? He has talked about R&D, he has talked about market opportunities, he has talked about investment, collaboration. So are we starting with Dr. Bello? Okay, please.
If you can just please help give Professor Katakpe another huge round of applause.
He deserves it.
In fact, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up in your honor. The reason let's stand up in his honor. In science, we are told to do the last experiment. You may be seated. Thank you. In science, I am a food scientist. I am a research innovator. And in science, working for the Fortune 500 food companies and beverage companies, when they hire you in as a new young scientist and engineer, they teach you how to do the last experiment first. So if you're going to fail in conducting that last experiment first, you have a shorter development time to get your products to the marketplace sooner than you would have ever done if you didn't do it that way. So I think for PASME, the organizers of this conference, I want to challenge you that at the end of this conference for 2026, this section we are having should be the first experiment, not the other way around. I want to hear a hand of applause on that. Because you are bringing practitioners. We are solution-oriented. The ministers and the government officials should be listening to this very section in 2026 because we are providing you with solutions. So let me talk about Shine-Bridge Global for a quick second. We are a US-based food solution company. My gentleman in front of me, Professor Katakpe, and my dear brother, I do need you to listen to this. We are a US food solution company. And what we've been able to do is to solve all of the issues and challenges that Professor enumerated by taking simple dehydration processing technology, which is what is utilized in producing functional potato ingredients. We call it instant mashed potato flakes. Procter & Gamble in the 70s saw an opportunity to redefine what potato chips is. They utilized their understanding and innovation in the paper industry. We're talking toilet paper industry. They reapplied that to developing a brand, one brand, that sold for $4 billion about 5 years ago. That brand is in our homes. That brand is called Pringles. Our children eat Pringles. I have eaten Pringles. This is the kind of solution that Professor just talked about. Do not worry. Because we were sent abroad as a boomer, we are now returning. We've raised our families. We've done all we need to do. All we have to do now is to come back home. And so it's an honor to have you here, Professor, this morning, and an honor to be in the panel. I know that we are going to hear things, but past me and management and leadership thing, please take note in your communique what we are about to discuss. This is not a time to rush and say you are getting out for lunch. I am telling you the godly truth, because the caliber of people sitting on this panel are the solution providers. So we must listen to solution. I would come back and give you our perspective on the solution to the myriad of problems and issues that we've talked about here, and it is anchored on research and development innovation, and we'll share with you what we've been able to do. At the end of the day, if you choose to listen, you too will become an owner. You will become an owner of ready-to-eat consumer packaged food wherever you live in Africa. That's the scale of solution that we are bringing to the table.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bello. Please, I want to bring in the representative of Asuri, Dr. Samuel Onwuka. Is he around? Please take a seat there. Because we have 3 papers, in fact, Professor Katambe's paper is enough to chew and do everything today. But we have another paper on high quality cassava flour policy and legislation to be delivered by DG of FIRO. And the DG is here. We have another paper online, developing value-added products with focus on high quality cassava flour, industrial research, sweeteners, ethanol, and animal feed. And this panel is going to do all this. So we want to manage time. In view of that, I would like to request that since Dr. Bello has started, I will give you just 2 minutes to say 1 or 2 things on Professor Katambe's paper. Then the 2 presenters will come and present, then we take it together. So
sir,
I'm starting with the
Thank you.
European Union as Aviation Safety Agency.
Thank you. And for everybody, for your interest to listen to what I have to say. I have a few takeaways from the paper presented. First of all, do the numbers, what part of the market you want to be in, export and foreign currency, and agroecology. And I want to bring all those together with the work that I'm doing. I am not buying anything. I am here because I was hired by those people who are interested in understanding what they can buy from Nigeria. I'm here to represent research in sustainable aviation fuels. I have found, and I am doing this research today in Nigeria, and I have found that the potential of cassava wastes for their production and processing to sustainable aviation fuels is the highest in the world. You're the biggest producer. You have the most waste that the industry is interested in, whether it's peels, whether it's the starch in the wastewater or the bagasse. All those are sources of a feedstock that can be converted into sustainable aviation fuel. Agroecology comes into the word sustainable. It's not just there for show. It's there to understand that the agronomical practices are the right ones that respect soil, climate, society, and economics. That has to be certified as sustainable. If Nigeria can follow agro practices that are sustainable, the industry I am doing research for is going to buy it. If Nigeria is ready to collect those wastes, aggregate them, and process them in pre-treatment, and we had a presentation on drying, which is the best pre-treatment. Transferring water is very expensive. We want to dry that feedstock first in order to transfer it. So from the research, I want to implement it so that I can create the market. And what I'm here to say, and I'll close it very, very fast, is that there's interest There's global interest in Nigeria. All what I think needs to get done is for the amount of money that has been spent in Nigeria on research to be implemented and shared so that the market can actually become to fruition.
Thank you very much for your contribution. University of Juba.
Thank you very much. I think I would like to say that I came from the east to the west for the first time. I come from South Sudan, from University of Juba, in the School of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies. And I would like to really, in my bottom of my heart, to thank the government and the people of Nigeria, and especially with my brother, Dr. Henry, who extended the invitation through the Pan-African Alliance for Small and Medium Industries. Secondly, I would like to say today is another day for us as academics, and I would like to remind ourselves that academia, the functions of academia are mainly the teaching or training, the research, the extension or outreach, and of late, creating of goods and services, where there is a linkage between the academia and the industries. So from my brother who made this powerful presentation, I would like to say there is need for us to start reminding ourselves the linkage between the academia and the industries. The constraints and the problems that emerge from the industries could be the source of the research areas that need to be resolved. And this will require all the partnership between the academia and the industries, as well as the government. The government will require evidence-based policy development, and you can't get this policy development in the evidence-based unless there is a research that generates the information and the data that can talk to the people, not being forced to come up with the solutions. So with regard to cassava, let me say in South Sudan has a big potential for cassava. And my coming here is really to learn on both the agronomic practices and mainly the processes and the technologies that the West African part of the continent have generated. And in this, I would like to say this is the way to go. And in Africa, I think more than 40 countries are producing cassava. And Tanzania, I think one of the great exporter of cassava. I think Uganda is also one of the great exporter of cassava. And in the region, also in East Africa region, I can see some countries are also abandoning cassava. But mainly, cassava is one of the very important crop from the non-food and food uses of cassava during the presentation in the morning are very clear. And this, when we link it to food and nutrition security, the 4 important components of food security, the availability, the accessibility, the utilization, and the stability of the food is very important. When we talk about food, food should be providing us with at least 4 important functions. Should be providing us with energy, protecting our body, building our body, and also improving our immunity. And that is where, when we talk about cassava, is only providing us with energy. So it is important that we export cassava so that we'll be able to get the other important components in
Thank you
in
very
our
much.
fooding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate Nigerian Industrialization Group.
Yeah, good afternoon once again. I think after listening to the Prof, one major thing that we have to realize is that if you don't work on cassava along the value chain, you may not be able to make profit. And one thing that is actually affecting us is how to reduce your unnecessary overhead in cassava. So cassava stem is money, cassava leaf is money, cassava root is money, cassava peel is money. Which one are you harnessing? I could remember when I started my cassava farm. For 1 year alone, I sold a cassava stem and I bought a tundra. So now I was able to add value to everything. I have a starch line, I have a flour line, I have a gari line, I have a fufu line, I have animal feed line. And now I'm actually working on how to make vegetables from leaves, which is pondu. So you don't just concentrate on the root alone and you throw the other ones to waste. You will not be competitive. And that's why we have to produce anything you are producing, produce it at a competitive rate. Reduce on the energy overhead, right from the farm mechanization and the processing. So if you work on the value chain, cassava is one of the best products that you can grow. After buying the first stems, you don't need to buy seed again. And cassava, if you are not harvesting as at the time due, you can leave it on the ground for another 6 months. You can still keep it on the ground. It's only crops that you can keep on the ground between 2 to 3 or 6 months. Then you can still preserve it when you are not adding value. And it's only crops that you can add like almost 10 different value chain from cassava. So, and cassava you can grow without fertilizer, you still make profit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Niji Lucas. African Agricultural Technology Foundation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. A lot has been said, and I want to say a very big thank you to Prof for the wonderful presentation. It is no longer news. It's not a new thing that rural farmers, the question now is not what we can produce, because it is evident to everybody that we are producing more than enough. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what do we want to do with what is currently being produced? And as an organization, we have started answering this question. When he was making his presentation, he mentioned that we only consume 51% of what we produce locally. What then happens to the remaining 49%? And this is where the technology comes in. And as an organization, what we are currently doing with the rural farmers is an establishment of an agro-processing center located in the rural hub in Oyo State, where we talk to farmers to bring their produce, their cassava. We process into HQCF for them using a toll processing model. Then we also encourage the local brace processors to come around, buy this HQCF. Then we further train them on how they can process to cake, to chin-chin, to bread, which they can easily take to the market and sell, aside exporting or looking at the other markets for the HQCF. Then our 3 unique models we are running on the machine is the industrial processing, where we buy cassava directly from the farmers, we process to HQCF and sell. Then the other one is the toll processing, which I've talked about. The farmer will bring their produce, we process for them at a subsidized rate. We also do market linkage. Then as an embedded service, we also have the third aspect, which is like a mini micro bakery, where we encourage the local processors, buy the HQCF from the farmers. You can now use this to process bread, then you can sell within the community. So like I said, the question we should be asking ourselves now is, what do we do with the remaining 49% that are not consumed locally?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Presidential Strategy, National Coordinator, Strategy Implementation Task Office for Presidential Executive Order 5.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. I want to especially thank the Prof for sending alert to us. And this alert is not the usual alert we get on our phones that Naira has come. This alert that he has given to all of us here, I think is much bigger than that. You know, I made a number of notes while he was speaking. And Prof has explained to us that cassava is Africa's untapped gold. We have been hearing it maybe, you know, in passing. But he went further to let us know that we have to consciously move now from subsistence to strategy with respect to cassava. It will no longer be the usual subsistent farming, you know, hoe and machete and all these things. We have to go beyond that, because this thing now is no longer about food security. It's also about economic security and industrial security. And he carefully drew our attention to the stark paradox that is in existence with respect to this cassava business. We are the highest producer, but we are not exporting. We are not even eating nutritiously. And yet we have all the things that can make us to eat nutritiously, that can make us export. And it is quite serious that this alert should be very clear and firm in our mind. Because when we are conscious of it, we'll be able to know what to do in order to resolve this problem. That missing gap that he talked about, you know, needs to be resolved. And he actually told us that in this cassava business, it's $1 billion opportunity. Can be used for so many things, pharmaceutical, you know, industry, and all the rest of them. So it's not something that we have to joke. We have to be very serious about it. And the good news is that he also explained that the engine for growth, you know, is such that R&D is very critical in order to resolve these issues. And he said something that is very, very, very important, that this has gone beyond production, that R&D cannot just be about increasing root yield. Then when you finish producing it, the thing will just spoil.
Thank you very much.
The thing will just spoil.
Thank you very much.
You have to be thinking of market-driven, you know, opportunities. You want me to stop?
Yeah, because because we don't have time. I know you have so much to say. Just 2 minutes, please, so that we can quickly.
Thank you so much. I will try to
Thank you.
be very brief. I'm of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutes, and my own institution is National Root Crop Research Institute, the institute in Nigeria that has the mandate for cassava. It's one of our mandate crops. And it's amazing, just because of time, one of the things that struck my mind while Prof was presenting was the aspect of the country that is spending or that has spent huge resources in cassava research. I was expecting US or Brazil or China, and it was shocking. They said Nigeria. Nigeria. And I was asking myself, how come we spent much in research in cassava and we are still where we are today? So it means there's a disconnect. This you know, the major stakeholders are not actually, you know, putting together their so there should be a kind of nexus, bringing together all these stakeholders. And I thank God that the ministers have been coming and there's government presence in this conference. And so my take home is that we need to do something very, very quickly to drive government will, you know, to make government support the effort that this particular conference is making now, bringing together the major stakeholders, and they are hitting the major points, you know, in the cassava industrial revolution. So we should bring in government will, and then also bring up policies that will drive this thing down to the farmers, those in the rural areas. You know, the technologies we want to invent and all that for value addition should consider their preferences, what they want to do. So when you produce them, it's not about one person doing the business of cassava. Nigeria is bigger than, or the world is bigger than one person doing it. So, but when everybody is carried along, the impact of this conference definitely will be felt in the nearest future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please give them a round of applause. You are still here. I would like to invite the DG of FIRO to come here and present the paper on high quality cassava flour policy and legislation. Thereafter, we'll have another paper online from US. I think they said developing value added products with focus on high quality cassava flour. So these two papers are going to talk about one of the products and then the policy issues. So we can then discuss every other thing. You are welcome, Doctor.
The invited guest, the organizer of this program. I come with good tidings from Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, Lagos, and I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to the organizers of this program, and I thank them for giving me the opportunity to stand here and talk on this. Rome wasn't built in a day. This sentence or idiom simply reminds us that steps taken over time can help reach big goals. This can be as an example in countries like China, America, Japan, etc. Today, one of the countries with the fastest development in science, technology, and innovation are China, Japan, and America, with a well-rooted, sophisticated commercialization hub and route. Today, I will be speaking on the topic high-quality cassava flour, policy and legislation. As we all know, fresh cassava roots are very quick to perish and form mold because of their high water content, thereby posing a major challenge for farmers to store the food or sell it in the market. African communities growing cassava today have always processed the root one way or another to extend the shelf life and eliminate toxic cyanide compounds. The main advantage of processing fresh cassava into high-quality cassava flour are the reduction in transport costs, long shelf life, and building capacity. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava in the world, with the current production output of 64.36 million metric tons from leading states such as Benue, Taraba, Kogi, Imo, Rivers State, etc. This annual output is more than a third of production output of Brazil and almost double production capacity for Thailand and Indonesia. Currently, one of the major setbacks in the promotion, partial and total inclusion of high cassava quality into our foods and confectionaries in the past is the delay in policies and legislation of high quality cassava flour, which hope has been rekindled by the current administration after so many years of inaction in the matter. What do we know about high-quality cassava flour? This refers to a white or off-white odorless, unfermented flour made from freshly harvested cassava root through a unique and delicate process into desired particle size. The flour can be used as a blend with wheat flour to obtain composite flour suitable for bread and confectionaries. Nigeria is high-quality cassava flour policy focuses on mandating the inclusion of 20% cassava flour in all wheat products to reduce wheat imports and boost local economy. The current administration has reviewed this policy, which aims to create jobs, promote food security, and diversity of the economy through a collaborative agro-business ecosystem. Current efforts of the federal government include partnerships with stakeholders like bakers and potential legislation to provide a legal framework and enforce compliance. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has reviewed the cassava flour policy, which mandates the inclusion of 20% flour in all wheat-based products. In reviewing the policy by the present administration, the Senate in November 2024 initiated a bill in its support. Let me take you on a brief history perspective of the policy. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, led government initiated cassava inclusion policy in 2002. He visited Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, Lagos, in March 22, 2004, where he showed considerable interest in cassava bread and confectionery products, such as donuts, biscuits, cake, sausage, etc. From 10 to 20% high quality cassava flour inclusion in wheat flour. Having eaten Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi cassava bread, he developed interest in promoting cassava wheat bread and getting the recipe and product to the market. After his visit to the institute, he mandated flour millers to substitute 5% cassava flour in wheat flour meant for baking bread and production of other confectionery products due to shortage of high-quality wheat flour to flour millers in 2005. In 2007, the policy, which was already gaining momentum, was abandoned as the former President Olusegun Obasanjo led government left office, thus bringing the whole policy process to a halt. Legislation on high-quality cassava flour and its inclusion in bread and confectionaries in Nigeria. This is a bill geared towards creating a guaranteed market for high-quality cassava in the food industry. The bill will mandate the use of high-quality cassava flour in eatable flour production, especially for bread and confectionaries. Currently, Nigeria imports wheat worth at least 1 trillion naira annually as raw materials for the flour mills industry in the country. A successful legislation of the bill will mandate flour millers to reduce their importation of wheat grains by at least 20% and utilize 20% high-quality cassava flour in every bag of wheat flour produced. Current status of high-quality cassava flour bill in Nigeria. The bill has been passed for the second reading in the Nigeria Senate and has been referred to the Senate Committee on Agriculture for further review and recommendation. The bill seeks to mandate the inclusion of 20% high-quality cassava flour in edible flour production and aims to reduce Nigeria's reliance on imported wheat, which cost over $3 billion annually and boosts the local cassava industry. It also seeks to stimulate job creation and improve economic stability by using the country's status as the world's leading cassava producer. Furious effort towards implementing cassava national policy. After the visit of the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, to the Institute in 2004, he shared great interest in bread produced from wheat flour containing 20% high quality cassava flour inclusion. He subsequently mandated all flour millers to incorporate 5% high quality cassava flour in each bag of flour produced so as to gradually implement 5% inclusion policy. The Institute has developed, established, and standardized cassava processing equipment for production of high quality cassava flour suitable for its commercial production. The economic evaluation of 20% inclusion level of high quality cassava flour in bread production shows high profitability to bakers at 20% inclusion level. The bread recipe and process technology involved are technically feasible and can be readily scaled up for production. The Institute has successfully trained some bakers who will be investors through a project titled Cassava Adding Value in Africa. On adopting 20% inclusion level of high quality cassava flour in their bread production. Additionally, the Institute had been training interested investors on the utilization of high quality cassava flour in wheat flour for confectionery such as cakes, donuts, sausage, chin-chin, etc. since 2002. Context goals. Nigeria is a leading global producer of cassava with an annual output of over 63 million metric tons. The bill seeks to leverage these local resources to reduce dependence on imported wheat, a staple food for many Nigerians, products like bread. The proposed legislation in a legislative response to a long-standing government policy to encourage cassava farming and processing. Employment potential of high-quality cassava flour. The employment generating capability of cassava bread production has a direct relationship to high-quality cassava processing, cassava flour produced and utilized by bread and confectionery industries in Nigeria in the areas of farming, suppliers, marketers, bakers, researchers, etc. Way forward on legislation of high-quality cassava flour in Nigeria. The bill titled Cassava Flour Mandatory Inclusion Flour Production seeks to, amongst other things, establish the National Cassava Policy Coordination Council and has passed second reading in the Nigerian Senate in November 2024, where the general principle has been deliberated upon. Currently, the bill is still undergoing legislative processes in the National Assembly. However, the existence of this bill, if passed and assented to, will significantly improve the dynamics of cassava production and processing into high-quality cassava flour and utilization by food industries with massive annual production of cassava root proliferation of high-quality cassava flour industries, huge job opportunities along cassava value chain, and enhance food security and gross domestic product of the country. FIRO, a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, with a major mandate in food and agro-allied processing, is strategically positioned towards the implementation of the mandatory 20% inclusion of high-quality cassava flour in wheat policy for bread and confectionery production. The Institute has functional cassava processing equipment into high-quality cassava flour and standard bakeries in FIRO, Oshodi, Lagos, Southwest Zonal Office in Owode, Southeast Zonal Office in Enugu, and FIRO, Abuja. Our centers can train interested investors in high-quality cassava flour production as well as master bakers nationwide on best practices utilizing wheat flour containing 20% high-quality cassava flour for producing acceptable, healthy loaves of bread using their existing baking processing equipment. You will agree with me that Rome was not built in a day. Even though it will take time, we need to be expedient in achieving the desired goal for our people. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, DG. DG FIRO, you have said it all. FIRO has researched on QCF, 5%, 10%, 20% feasible. So we thank you very much. We will come back to you. We have another paper, online paper. Are you ready? The secretary, please let him. The paper is developing value-added products with focus on high-quality cassava flour, industrial starch, sweeteners, ethanol, and animal feed. Is he ready? Okay, are you hearing us? Please, you can unmute and go ahead if you are hearing us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you very much. We are hearing you. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much. Can you, next thing is to ask whether you can see my screen. I'm going to project a presentation now, and I want you to please confirm that you can see my screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is Benga Pampa, and I'm an ethanol consultant, Middle Eastern Africa for U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. And today we're talking about developing value-added products with focus on high-quality cassava flour, industrial starch, sweeteners, ethanol, and animal feed for economic growth. The U.S. Grains and Bioproducts, all protocols observed. Thank you very much, everybody. Now, U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council, two things to retain. It's a private organization, non-profit, founded in 1960. And the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council develops export markets for U.S. barley, corn, sorghum, related products, including distilled dried grains for feed, and ethanol, which we'll be speaking about today. We partner with local authorities, local stakeholders, and U.S. agriculture. We have a full-time presence in 13 key markets, representatives in additional 15 locations, so all over the world, including Nigeria. The Council operates programs in more than 50 countries and the European Union. So, cassava. Some value-added products from cassava. As mentioned, 5. high-quality cassava flour, which has been spoken by the previous speaker, industrial starch, sweeteners, ethanol, animal feed. But let me focus on ethanol. Ethanol is a versatile product in alcoholic beverages. It's a main alcoholic content. It's used as a solvent. It's a renewable fuel also, like the lady from the EU spoke about, and in medical and laboratory work. So let's dive deeper on ethanol. So ethanol is the main focus area where there's an intersect with cassava and with the US Grains Council and Bioproducts Council. So the market for value-added products, unfortunately in Nigeria, is largely met by importation. This is powerful. It shows that the market is ready for cassava and value-added products for cassava. So on the table by the right, I'm showing some indicative demands, annual demands in the high-quality cassava, about 414 to 750,000 tons a year. Industrial starch, about 750,000 tons. Sweeteners, about 1.9 million tons. Ethanol, already, Nigeria is importing more than 300 million liters today. And these are things, the local production for all of them is less than 10%. Some of them nearer zero than even 10, as has been mentioned by the professor. What are the key challenges? High production costs. Artisanal farming and mechanized farming, they're different things with different rates and of yield and productivity. Outdated farming and processing techniques, inadequate infrastructure, forex challenges, low quality and quantity of local production, policy implementation. It is true that Nigeria is #1 worldwide for cassava. We eat a lot of it also. We use some of it industrially for this less than 10%. But we need to increase the productivity and the yield to be able to make an impact for value-added products. So ethanol in particular, what is it or how is it produced? Ethanol is renewable, volatile, colorless, flammable liquid, also known as ethyl alcohol for those who are chemists amongst us, but it's produced from fermentation of sugars. So even there's a whole schematic there. The key things are two processes, fermentation and distillation, to make a very pure product of ethanol. Now, uses of ethanol. So when we say uses of ethanol, remember, we can also derive it as one of the feedstocks coming from cassava. It can come from wheat, it can come from sorghum. We're talking about cassava today, where it's very plentiful in Nigeria. Fuel and energy is a focus, and cooking fuel. So eventually we can get fuel blended with petrol to give lower emissions, and cooking fuel for households can come from ethanol, and the market is there already. Others include medical and hygiene, food and beverages, industrial, even cosmetics. But let's focus on fuel and energy and on cooking fuel. So Nigeria has an E10 biofuels policy. E10, what does that mean? 10% ethanol as a mix in petrol. When I say E10, it's 10% ethanol inside petrol. We have a biofuels policy. But before we go into that, let's show what's happening worldwide. We can see Nigeria in the middle. We have an E10 policy. But note, there are countries like Brazil that are E30, the US E10, E15, and all over the world like that. People are going towards ethanol in petrol to lower emissions and to also be able to meet their objectives for reducing to decarbonize their transport system. So, what is the policy that we have in Nigeria? It's a concurrent policy. That's very important. That on one hand, we will have to import ethanol. That is true. And on the other hand, we have to seed the market. That is, we have to make sure that we establish for biofuel production program, we establish plantations, construction of biofuel distilleries and plants for local production of ethanol. But together, this combines to try and meet the ethanol demand for Nigeria. So ethanol is initially imported while local production ramps up. So cassava, let's imagine between 60 to 65 million metric tons a year, 26% of the world's output, about 7 or 8 billion annual post-harvest losses, even which post-harvest losses can also be used for ethanol. So that's showing the kind of potential that is available. And the demand of 300 million liters I mentioned is only what is existing at the moment. By the time we go to energy, to fuel, to biofuel, to mix, to having an E10 policy, 10% ethanol in petrol, we're talking about 1 to 2 billion liters of ethanol a year represented in the Nigerian market. So how is the biofuel policy going to be implemented? First, there's a policy. Then there are regulatory controls to form the guidelines. And then we are working with the NMDPRA, the regulatory organization, the Major Market Association of Nigeria, different associations. We're working with Cassava Growers Association around an E10 pilot, which will demonstrate technical and commercial viability and make sure that 1 or 2 mistakes that have been made in the past are not remade when we're now moving forward. Eventually, we will move on to be deployed in the country, giving reduction in emissions, replacement of toxic enhancers in gasoline, integration of agricultural and downstream petroleum sectors for economic benefit. So this is the juxtaposition where we have ethanol derived from cassava for economic benefits of the country. So clean cooking, I'll just mention a little bit about clean cooking. Almost 1 billion people are without access to clean cooking in Africa. 50% concentrated in Ethiopia, Congo, Nigeria, Tanzania, DRC, and Uganda. In Kenya already, estimated 1 million households use bioethanol for clean cooking. That shows a lot of potential in Nigeria. And of course, where electricity is very expensive, and when LPG also is difficult, like in East Africa, Nigeria has a lot of potential. So the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts stands ready to support this kind of clean cooking with supplies of ethanol. So recent events by the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council, we've had technical workshops in Nigeria. We had an interesting food and fuel January 30, 2025, where we spoke about cattle beef, that indeed actually food and fuel, and Nigeria stands at a very strong position. We've talked about Nigeria's ethanol landscape, looking at cassava and feedstock. We've also interacted with Thailand, that has been mentioned by Professor, looking at how they are about the third producer, yet what they are doing is a big part of their income as a nation, and of course we dream to be there one day in Nigeria. So because of time, I have condensed the presentation, and this is the last slide. So cassava presents value-adding opportunity for Nigeria. It's clear, we are all saying it. But the central question, how do we scale it at a sustainable pace with full potential of value addition? The market is already waiting. Nigeria is importing her needs. She won't wait for cassava. But cassava has the opportunity of a ready-made market that by the time we use research and development to actually scale up production and utilization in Nigeria, the market is already there, which means that for investors, it's already a great buy, a great package. So how we do this is the most important question. It's an agro question. It's a logistics question. It's also a market development question. But when we can answer this, cassava can help Nigeria meet its decarbonization objectives even by the production of biofuels. And the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council rests here and has already been working with different stakeholders in Nigeria to make this a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that very important and significant presentation. We have the two papers now. the three papers, including Professor Katampe's paper, which we have already started discussing. But the panelists, if you have anything you still want to say about any of the three papers, you can still mention. But I would like to appeal that we should keep to time, because we still have a lot to do today. Maybe I can give you three minutes, and then we'll go back to the audience.
Okay.
Please, Prof. from Juba, you can start.
Thank you very much, moderator. With all the two presentations, I have some takeaway, but again, I would like to remind ourselves of what are the factors which arise during the implementation of policies in the continent. And this has been a thorny question in a number of our discussion, especially at academia level, because it touches the issues related to funding, the financing of implementation of the policies. So I think the takeaway from my side is we need to remind ourselves of the factors which arise during the implementation of policies, and this will help in the production of goods and services. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that intervention. Niji Lucas.
Yeah, thank you. I think when Vero DGs was talking, she was talking about inclusion of 5%, 10%, 20% in bread production or wheat. I think if only the government can actually implement that, that one will be a game changer to the country economy. And I'm going to assure you today that we've been able to perfect everything that has to do with cassava flour in its simplest form. When we started developing the cassava flour equipment with the IIT and everything, I traveled all the way to Germany to go and understudy how we can convert a potato peeler, adapt it to a cassava peeler. So we've been able to do that like almost 15 years ago. I brought the first one. I've been able to do reverse engineering. We have a 100% peeling machine that can actually peel cassava for flour. Because one thing about flour is that if your peeling is wrong, you can never get a high quality cassava flour. So peeling is number one problem. That's why people are not able to get cassava flour. And we'll be able to simplify even the flash dryer so that it's profitable. It can consume the gas, diesel, or any form of heat source that you have in an area. So it's a good opportunity for us that if they adopt that 10% or 20%, we have gotten the proven technology that can transform everything seamlessly and is more profitable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bello.
Thank you so much. Let me sum up what the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology concluded yesterday. He said Africa will not industrialize on the back of commodities alone, but on value addition. So here are some recommendations, which under the Nigerian Cassava Industrialization Group, we call it the 3S mandate. And the three presentations falls exactly under this 3S mandate. Number one, security of supplies of raw material. This is to simply ensure that we have reliable and climate-smart cassava production. Processing scalability. We need to learn to expand the capacity of Africa's cassava industry. And you have some practitioners here with us today. Number three, in terms of the 3S mandate, is consumer market sustainability. We heard that from Professor. At the end of the day, cassava is competing for our share of stomach. Given our limited resources, would we spend our money on cassava chin-chin, on cassava bread?
Are we going for lunch?
By tomorrow, I hope we all attend the deliberations You would hear from us the recommendations of the Nigeria Cassava Industrialization Group. We would like to recommend for the African Cassava Conference, a Cassava 360-degree Africa, where we all learn to work together. We'll give you details tomorrow. Number 2, Cassava Industrialization and Innovation Exchange. Again, we will give you some details on that tomorrow. Last but not the least is the Cassava Food Quality and Safety for Africa. Under these mandates and working with private sector policy enablement, we believe we have the solution. And we cannot feel bad about the issues and challenges, but rather consider this as an opportunity. There is hope for cassava industrialization in Africa.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bello. African Agricultural Technology Foundation.
Thank you. From the 3 presentations, 2 key things has been established. 1, we have the raw material. 2 is the market opportunity. Then what I want us to begin to think about now is, how do we convert these raw materials to the finished products? And this is where it is very important to say that the policymakers, the investors should start looking at interventions and projects that does not really look at the production alone. Let's now look at interventions that is tailored towards agro-processing as against what it used to be, because majority of this intervention from experience is always smallholder farmers production. Now it is important we start thinking about what happens after this production. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. National Coordinator.
Yeah. Thank you very much for, again, giving me the opportunity to speak. But please don't take the microphone from me. Okay. My major point here from the notes I have made is that policy is a major catalyst in resolving most of the issues that have been raised here. And every effort has to be made to see that all the policies are in place and they are implemented. As far as the policy that I am involved in is concerned, I would like to give not 100%, but near 99.9% assurance that the law that we have that has been passed, awaiting assent now, is capable of resolving all the issues that are being raised here.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To the bank. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just a rider to what has been said before. I just want to inform this audience that what the Director General of FIRO was saying, we'll have at the exhibition stand, National Root Crops will have gone ahead in that research also. We have 100% high quality cassava products. You could just go after now and see for yourself. And we've also made advancements in the issue of producing cassava varieties that are high in starch and sugar that will help us actually drive the ethanol value addition we're talking about. Yes, we released 2 varieties. That was 2 years ago, Biggie and Renewed Hope. Yeah, so those ones are very high. So all we need now is from this gathering, start collaborating, networking. What we need is partnership and funding. And thank God he has assured us, they say 99.9, so if you approximate it is 100% assurance that the policy will help us drive that research. And I believe the policy will cover the area of funding, because research funding is very, very key in whatever we're doing. And I think if we do that, we'll be heading to a positive direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let us just give just a few comments, questions, observations from the floor before we move. 1, 2, 3. Madam there. We have 3, yes. Please give him mic.
Thank you very much. I'll be very fast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Professor Katambi, wonderful. As an agricultural economist, which I am, I like figures. Nigeria is the highest producer of cassava in the world. Nigeria ranks first. The same Nigeria ranks 75 in productivity out of 98 cassava producing countries. 75 rank out of 98 cassava producing. Some years ago, we did a policy analysis matrix. And what was it all about? What is the cost of production in Nigeria? And what is the cost of production outside Nigeria? We consider the border prices. At 6 tons per hectare, 6.3 tons per hectare for Nigeria, how can we compete with countries that are doing 40 tons per hectare? It's not possible. We can't export. So what do we do to increase our productivity for food security in this country very quickly? We continue talking about organic agriculture and inorganic agriculture. Is organic agriculture the way to go? Some years ago, in UNECA, where they were doing a conference on structural green agriculture for structural transformation, I accused the developed world of subjecting developing countries the problem of what? Huge chemicals and what have you. Now, if we have to increase food security in this country very quickly, organic agriculture, we need 2-3 tons of poultry manure for 1 hectare of land. 2 tons, 3 tons for 1 hectare. Vis-a-vis 400 kg of fertilizer. What is the cost of 3 tons of poultry manure to 400 kg of fertilizer?
Thank
Please,
you.
it's a discourse. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have only 3 people. Okay, he's the 4th one. That's all.
All protocols duly observed. I remain Venerable Okwa, Cross River State, Coordinator, Special Advisor, Cassava Value Chain, Cross River State. When we talk of policies, policies have already been written. I think in 2010, I was part of those who penciled down the Sustainable Development Goal on cassava. And what we had for Sustainable Development Goal on cassava was that by 2030, just about 5 years from now, we should be driving our cars using biofuel, using ethanol. We should be cooking our food using methane gas. But I don't know whether we will be able to meet up with just 5 years to go. So we need to really drive our policies. Thank God our brother from the Senate have said that something good is coming. We give you another 5 years to see whether that will be implemented. But to my brother, the professor, Professor Sir, Professor Ibrahim, you said we are the first in production. We are the first in research. But we are the least in exports. Then if we can meet the triple helix, because when you talk of the triple helix, you are talking of the farmers, which is already on ground. You are talking of the research, which we have already met. So our problem is the government. Our problem is me, because I am government, you are government. But to meet up the triple helix, because that is where the window, that is where the problem is. How is government funding cassava? How is government preparing land? We have land preparation problem To do 1 hectare of land now, convincingly, you need nothing less than 2 million naira to do land preparation. So this cannot be done by individuals. Government should be able to open up cluster land in all the states. At least each state should give us 5,000 hectares. Then we should be able to talk of being able to fuel our cars with ethanol. So, my brother, the concept has not been fully brought to play. The concept of the triple helix in Nigeria. Funding is a problem, land preparation is a problem, and our export plan strategy. We have to strategize for export. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the intervention.
Thank you, moderator. My name is Bonnie Alaneme. I'm a science journalist and publisher African Science Digest. Mine is a direct question, not comment. And my question comes from the first presentation by Professor Ibrahim. He talked about translational research. And I want to find out, maybe the panelists can also help to put me through whether there is any difference between translational research and market-driven research. I'm a bit lost. I need more explanation. And again, I also found to find out whether the panelists or Professor Ibrahim himself have noticed any communication gap between research and the market. To me, for the past over 20 years, I've been communicating research. I'm still struggling to close this gap. It's difficult because the scientists themselves speak a different grammar, a different language, while the market or the industry also have a different language. So how do we bring this gap? Because what I've noticed since yesterday in this conference is that the real people, the real farmers are not here. Then how do we take the message to them? They are not here. 90% of people here are the scientists. It's like we are talking to ourselves. Which language do we use to they are not here. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Can I answer that? Oh. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let me answer him. Actually, before I answer your 2 questions, you say every meeting there is only scientists. The biggest scientists are farmers. So farmers are scientists. Every human being is a scientist. What's a scientist? A scientist is a person who seeks knowledge and improves knowledge. So we're all scientists. So we've cleared that part. Are we good? We're all scientists. And we're all farmers now. We're all farmers. So if I'm a chemist, I'm a chemical farmer. How about that? So if you are a journalist, right? You are a chemical, you are a journalistic farmer. Because you are aiming to produce a product. Does that make sense? All right. So you say, is there a difference between translational and market-driven? My agro-business guy posed a question about nutrient management between organic and inorganic and how the value, the cost, because he was trying to explain it from economics point of view. So what he's saying then is market-driven, but we're able to translate the numbers to meet. So there's always a correlation where translating it to, of course, is the market. In its own nutrient management profile, that's the market in which the supply chain. Remember in supply chain, one guy told us, don't only worry about the stalk, the root, but the different parts. So the market can be the leaf market. So how do you translate that leaf to that market, right? So you do market segmentation. So translational research is different from applied research. In FIRO, whatever you guys do is applied. That means you found a use for it. dehydration technology. I found the use for it. But until I apply it to form sprinkles, I've done nothing. And that if you apply it to do sprinkles, then I've translated it. I'll get the picture. That's why most of our research sits on the shelf. It's not that we don't have research. It's not that we don't have the ability. We have it. The DG just said it. But we're not translating it. That means we're not doing market-driven. You hear the word solution-driven research. Solution-driven research is applied research. But if you found the solution, then how do you translate it? That's why the rubber meets the road. That's why the guy is talking about triple, quadruple. His government is involved. Small investors and investors are involved. Money policies are involved. You're not translating. But if I'm in the lab finding a solution, I'm not thinking about policy. I'm just thinking about my test tube. Does that make it different? Yeah. So which market? Which is the same language? It's just use a different terminology. Did I answer your question? Was it only one or two? I answered both.
Communication. Communication.
Who?
Communication.
Communication. I can't remember the second one.
Communication. Taking the message to.
Oh, yeah. Taking the message. So when you publish, it's communicate. Now we are communicating. Right? Yeah. Yeah. To who? Yeah, to the public, and that's what government policies. That's why when we say quadruple elite, civil society is also involved. Now, by the time we understand, the biggest of our problem is not understanding. We hear it, we are knowledgeable, but not understanding about the implication. If you understand the implication, you communicate it right. We talk about it, but we don't communicate because we don't know the relevance. And if we don't communicate well, it's because we don't know the problem. In a lot of research, you talk about statement of the problem. A lot of us describe the problem. We cannot state the problem. A lot of us don't know what the problem is, but some of us have been able to tell us what the problem is. You know why we've been able to do it? Because we are producing 65, same reason. We describe it all the time. The world's biggest producer, but we're not exporting, so we are not defining problem, but we describe it all the time. The ethanol guy, if we have 65%, then that means we can produce ethanol. Because the biggest thing about cassava knowledge says is carbohydrates, calories, is energy. So we can be producing ethanol. So we can help our energy industry. But we're still importing ethanol from US. Are we getting the picture now? From outside world. And our policy said 10%. Paraguay, you were just pointing to me, 30%. So something, knowledge is power, but how to market, translate that knowledge, I think that's one of our biggest.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much. Please, we have somebody on the line from Indonesia. I would like to seek your indulgence. If we have just two, you, and then we can come back later. Just 1 minute. So that
thank you so much for this opportunity. My own concern, Dr. Mary Ann Maza from National Root Crop Research Institute, Modike. My own concern is on the area of adoption of all this research development we've been discussing here. Wonderful paper, wonderful research and extension. Because with all this research and extension, when you go to farmers' field, you still notice very low level of adoption of all this cassava technology. My question is, what can we do to enhance the level of all these technologies we've already pushed to farmers there so that we can see them at farmers' field? What can we do? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Give him just 1 minute, please.
Please, standing on the existing protocol, my question is to the people at the panel area. Please let the panel talk about funding that we have been reading on the internet, on newspapers, that it has been released to local farmers. And this funding never get to some of these farmers. What happened to those fundings that we'll be hearing, the grants that have been released by the government?
Which paper? Which paper?
Maybe I would have come with one of the proofs.
Because if there's no paper that has
Because I'm a farmer, and then we've been hearing that fundings have been released for like projects like Cassava, but we've never seen it.
You know, Prof said we are all scientists here. In science, you have to be sure of what you are saying. You don't make general statements, you make statements.
This one I'm very sure.
So, okay, thank you very much. Just last one there.
Sorry, moderator.
Okay,
I just want to answer the farmer here because maybe I think, I don't know which association you belong to as a farmer. Do you belong to any association? Aseni. Which state are you farming? Cross River State. Did your association tell you they are funding them? Did they tell you they are funding them? Okay, so I don't think there's a challenge in that. Because for us, in our own kind of association, the NCGA, which is the umbrella body of the Nigerian Cassava Growers Association, we've been receiving funding from projects from government, since time immemorial, since all this cassava project has started. But then, if you are trying to find out on this kind of development, it's better you find the NCGA chairman in your state. I think we have them. He knows it. So you find him, and then, look at him here. He's from your state, and he's the state chairman. Okay? So find him, because I think, go and meet him, because all the farmers there are registering, and right now, BOA is even funding. So go and register your farm with the BOA, and your chairman is here. So arrest him, and then know how you can solve it.
Thank you very much, National Chairman of Nigeria Cassava Growers Association. Last one, we want to quickly take this paper.
Okay.
1 minute.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the last opportunity. I'm Innocent Nwokomonyekpere from National Root Crop Research Institute, Umudike. What I want to say now is, I don't know whether our policymakers are here. The issue, he says funding, is funding, but the other way around. Can the funding for research institutes be increased? Because, for instance, in Ministry of Agric, the Research Institute and other agencies under Ministry of Agric received only 30% of the 100% fund for agriculture. If the funding will be increased, I am telling you that, like National Root Crop Research Institute, we've developed climate-smart agricultural practices in collaboration with International Atomic Energy Agency, (IANA), whereby cassava will be increased to 49.6%, 49.6 tons per hectare. But what we are looking for now is funding so that we can upscale this. We did the research in Nasarawa State, in Benue State, and we had such yield. So where is the money? And we even wrote to Ministry of Agric in 2023. Up till now, we have not gotten an answer to it.
Thank you very much.
That's another aspect. Another aspect is the issue, like somebody said, farmers are not here. Farmers are not supposed to be here. But what of the coordinating research institutes that takes care of farmers? Like National Root Crop Research Institute is here for Southeast. The Lectured Research Institute is supposed to be here. I don't know if IAR is here, IRNT. All those are zonal coordinating institutes. They are supposed to be here. Another thing is, because they are the people coordinating refills, they understand the farmer's language, they speak the farmer's language, and translate whatever thing that will be done here for farmers for increase in cassava production. Another thing is the ethanol project of the Federal Ministry of Federal Government. That ethanol project started as far back, I think, 2010 or thereabout, at Umudik National Root Crop Research Institute. Since then, we finished the soil work, waiting for the federal government to take off for the internal production. So for now, the policymakers, I don't know where that project is. So these are the things. We have good ideas, but the issue is just translate it, implement it, so that at the end of the day, we can now see the result. Thank you.
We shall implement it. Thank you very much. Please permit me to thank my very capable panelists and very capable audience for enduring, if I may use the word, since the last few hours. It means it has been very, very educative and scintillating discussion. I would like to thank you for your perspectives, for your expertise, and your interventions. The presenters, I would still want to thank you very much for what you have done. You have actually educated us more today and really directed our thinking to the whys and hows, and that we are actually supposed to first of all, we do literature search, we do literature review, but search first before review, because it's when you search, you see where the problems are, and then you review to see the extent of work done so that you sharpen your skills. Please join me in still giving a loud applause to both the panelists and the presenters. We would have a group photograph with the panelists before the Indonesian experience, please. Then thereafter, we have 3 poster presentations outside. And then from there, we'll go for lunch. And then we'll quickly come back to take the Kenyan experience and Ghana experience, and then the other papers. Thank you very much. Please, we would like to have the Indonesian paper now. The country experience. Link him up.
Yes, hello.
Okay, we are
Can you
hearing
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, we are taking
Okay.
Indonesian experience.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeroen Rijnberg. I'm the President Director of SBDI Center Foundation, which stands for Sustainable Business Development and Innovation Foundation, where we give practical education towards the ones who require this. So first of all, I want to thank the whole commission of this Cassava conference for his remarkable job of organizing this event. I want next to that also to make a remark of some conversations that I heard. Yes, Nigeria is the biggest cassava producer in the world. But I want to make a big remark, and this remark stated that Indonesia has the most variety of products of cassava, food products and non-food products in the world. And we are willing to share this knowledge with you. Let me give you some of the product examples that we developed. This is our master bread mix of cassava. This is our mocha, modified cassava flour. We have some fried chicken coatings. We have up to 500 products developed from cassava. Not only food products, but we are also one of the biggest producers of biodegradable plastics and other cassava products. The SBDI Center Foundation is willing to exchange all our products with institutions in Nigeria. Therefore, the SBDI Center Foundation would like to share our story and our trip with you. So allow me to share our PowerPoint presentation. Do you see my screen?
We can hear you.
You see my screen? My shared screen, can you see it?
Not yet.
Can you see my screen, my PowerPoint?
We are not seeing the screen.
Okay, let me try to share it again. One moment.
Recording has been resumed.
Okay. How about now?
Not yet.
You don't see my PowerPoint? How to share? Okay. One moment. Okay, how about now?
Okay, thank you. I think the screen is coming up. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. The SBDI Foundation is focusing on food security. We noticed that since my birth, Western countries focusing on food security, but unfortunately, I consider that as mission failed. Why? Distribution food doesn't create any food security. In our perspective, it creates beggars. We need to share knowledge with each other instead of distribution food. I hope you will agree on that one with me. Our philosophy comes from our Indonesian ancestors, gotong royong, which means togetherness for one goal. And on the bottom of the emblem of the Republic of Indonesia, we say Bingla Tugalica, which means unity in diversity, which is our country and state's philosophy. Our focus is food safety and food security, not only for Indonesia, but the entire world, especially for Africa and Indonesia relations. We do that with Partnership for the Goal, SDG number 17. We cooperate as SPDI Foundation together with Ladang Lima, one of our all-purpose factories, Rumah Mocha, our cooperative factories, Eco Guitars, which is our distribution channel, and our distribution partner, Wishoes, who are developing microstimulators to create our mocha, modified cassava flour. But the most important cooperation is between Madonna University, which is a Christian university, together with University Islam Malang, UNISMA, that represents unity in diversity. We work together with Creative Cultural Ambiance, MCC in Malang, and the ETS Technical University in Indonesia, and together we support the UN Global Compact goals. A partnership example. Here you will see the company of Wishoes having a cooperation with the universities in Indonesia. Here you see us going to Nigeria, establishing partnerships with different universities in Nigeria. Here you will see us discussions with your government regarding some projects that you have on agriculture. And this is the cooperation between the Madonna University, the SPDI Foundation, and the Islamic University of Indonesia. Our World Food Security Program is based on unity and diversity. Allow us to introduce you a lot of products that we are already developing. Mocha from mocha. A lot of cookies, pastas, noodles, sugar, and bread mix. Here you see our pasta line. We are willing to share all these recipes with you. We are willing to give practical education on how to develop the mocha as well as the end products. Allow me to give a, yes?
Hello, Rob. Are you
Yes,
hearing
please.
us?
Yes.
Okay,
I can hear you.
please run your slides. Which
Okay,
slide?
you're running late.
Yes, we are still on the first slide. Move to the current slide.
This one?
The current one. The slides, you are not moving the slides.
Okay, one moment. What happened?
Go to slideshow.
Yes, I put the slideshow. One moment. Okay? You can see it? Okay, let me do this. So let me go to the partnerships that we have. Our trip in Nigeria. And let me go to the products that we are developing. So these are some of the products that we are developing from mocha: sugar, cookies, but also pastas and noodles. Because of the time frame, I will skip the message from our president of the Republic of Indonesia. These are the cassava bags that we are making and already exporting to Australia. This is compost that we are creating from cassava, and this is fertilizer that we are creating from cassava. This is a biogas system that we are creating from cassava. So cassava can function as a circular crop. It can create food, it can create your own fertilizer, your own compost, but also biogas for electricity. So cassava is one of the most important crop that we have at this moment in Indonesia. Now, I want you to focus on your local consumption regarding cassava, because I hear everybody focusing on export. But let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a small story.
Okay, please can you
Yes.
round up in 3 minutes?
I will round up in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Let me tell you a little story. Everybody knows Indomie. It's very popular in Nigeria. I'm sure everybody did eat Indomie. And Indomie came to Nigeria and they're making a lot of profit. Indo Group or Indo Food went to Nigeria. Why? Because you have 200 million potential buyers. So my question is, if you want to create huge food security, why are you focusing on export? Why is the focus not local production for local consumption? If we talk about food security, your consumption market and your profitable market will be in Nigeria itself and the surrounding countries, instead of exporting to China, USA, and so on. So, what we want to do as a foundation, giving all our recipes towards University Madonna in River State, to be a trainer and teacher for communities, producing local products for local markets. So anybody who is interested in new products and new developments and technology, research paper, or so on from Indonesia, you're welcome to contact the organizers of this event or join the trip to Indonesia together with Madonna University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much for giving him this loud applause. We thank you so much. We have seen that Indonesia has over 500 value-added products from cassava. And there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration. So we would like to assure you that we have participants here that would like to collaborate with you in adding value to cassava products. Thank you very much once more. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. We have the 3 poster presentations, as we earlier said. We are going out to see those posters, and then from there we'll proceed for lunch. We have sustainable drying technologies. No, we have from technology to business, scaling rural transformation through integrated cassava agro-processing in Nigeria by Emmanuel Okok-Benin African Agricultural Technology Foundation. We have technological interventions for post-harvest loss reduction in fresh cassava from AUST. And then we have another one on drivers of cassava commercialization in Southeast Nigeria and implications for food security, poverty alleviation, and inclusive growth by Okoye BC National Root Crops Research Institute, Umudike. So these are the 3 posters we have outside. As we move out, we look at them. We will also go for our lunch. And then when we return, we'll have paper from Kenya, experience from Kenya and Ghana, before we take other papers. I would like to thank you once again for your patience throughout this day. I would like to use this opportunity to extend the appreciation of PIOSME for your participation and for your patience and interest in this conference. Thank you very much. I think we can move out to the poster presentations, and from there we go for lunch. Thank you very much once more.
The President and his vice have always emphasized the need to patronize made in Nigeria products and services to help grow the economy of our dear nation. Businesses will expand, and that will lead to more jobs, boost the nation grows domestic products, and improve our foreign exchange earnings. We must patronize our highly competitive products and services, take advantage of our large population to stimulate our economy. Nigerians, be patriotic, think Nigeria and put Nigeria first. We must prioritize our great range of products and services before considering others. It's all on us and in our hands.
based on interest and input and patriotic zeal that you have been demonstrated years before now is no more a debatable issue when you name this mention in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So based on your contribution that we have recognized in Nigeria, we nominated in this movement as a patron of patronizing. This is a symbol you will use in an office or anywhere you find yourself to call upon anyone to patronize made in Nigeria, especially Nigerians. So I wish you
For me, coming in here, at least I have a lot of hopes that we have the solution. And Alhaji, we have to appreciate you. We have to appreciate your God-given talents together with your team. We also appreciate the time you have invested in being that creative and intuitive in coming up with these products we can see on display, both here in the office and downstairs. And it does appear that almost all agricultural products that are produced in Nigeria, you have a solution for it. The solution, I can see them here in your shelves. So why should we bother about other means of getting foreign sale, like oil, which is a depleting asset, when we have an asset on the ground that will continue yielding regular income, creating jobs, creating wealth, and to change our economy within our country within the shortest possible time. But he cannot do it alone, because we need the likes of ambassador to the World Trade Organization and other foreign missions also to come in here and see what we have, so that they can market the products in their various countries of they have been posted to. And I believe these are like natural products and organic products. So the world now is turning to organic foods, not synthetic foods and so on and so forth. So I think there is nothing we can say, but we'll continue celebrating you. And we thank God for having you. I believe that other Nigerians who will come here will develop similar initiatives. But I urge government, please, 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 they should come here and see the solution to our growth. This is the solution, and nobody can contest it. So, and for the appointment as a patron, I appreciate on behalf of myself and my family and every other person that is wishing me well. I want to thank you most sincerely.
Welcome to Business Visa and Company Limited. This afternoon we are gathered here to honor one of our patrons who will be championing the campaign of Made in Nigerian products and services. And he is also the founding father and national president of National Bambara Nut Producer, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria.